إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا ونبينا مولانا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا مولانا محمد وأصحابه وبارك وسلم صلاة وسلاما عليك يا سيدي يا سندي يا حبيبي يا طبيبي يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا رحمة للعالمين نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وكونوا مع الصادقين صدق الله مولانا العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الأمين المكين الكريم ونحن على ذلك لمن الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين غوث أعظم بمن بسرون ساما مدد قبلہ دی مدد کعبہ امام مدد قادریم نعرائے یا غوث اعظم میزنم دمز شیخ احمد رضا خان قطب عالم میزنم سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد مسلک سرکار اعلیٰ اعلیٰ حضرت زندہ باد یا الہی مسلک احمد رضا خان زندہ باد حفظ ناموں سے رسالت کا جو ذمہ دار ہے سیدی یا مرشدی شاہ مصطفیٰ خان زندہ باد حامل فیض رضائے مصطفیٰ امداد کن صلی اللہ علیہ النبی الامی وآلہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم صلاة و سلام علیک یا سیدی یا سندی یا حبیبی یا طبیبی یا رسول اللہ صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا رحمة للعالمين. All praise is due to Almighty Allah. Durood and salams upon the most perfect, exalted and glorified of Allah's creation, Sayyiduna wa Maulana Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Peace, blessings and salutations upon the Anbiya Kiram, Ahle Bayt Athar, Sahaba Kiram, Khulafa Rashidin, Tabi'in, Tabi'in, A'immah Mujtahideen, Awliya Kamilin, and all those who will follow the path until the last day. We thank Almighty Allah through His infinite mercy and through the wasil of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for blessing us with the opportunity to congregate for Salatul JUMMAH and to prostrate in His most exalted court. Before continuing, let us all direct our hearts and our thoughts and minds towards the holy and the sanctified court of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and in doing so, let us collectively recite Durood Sharif. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyana Maulana Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Maulana Muhammadin wa ashabihi wa barik wa sallim. Salatu wa salamun alayka ya Sayyidi, ya Sanadi, ya Habibi, ya Tabibi, ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa ala alika wa ashabika ya rahmatan lil alamin. Almighty Allah, by His divine grace and by His mercy, has put man on this earth, and in doing so Allah Almighty has granted him numerous responsibilities and duties. We are not here in this dunya just to pass our time or to entertain ourselves or to become leaders and powerful people in the dunya. We are not here in this dunya, and we have not been placed here so that we may cause taklif to anybody unduly, so that we may kill and make qatl o gharat in this dunya. Allah has put us here with a great responsibility, because our father and the father of the entire mankind, HAZRAT Sayyiduna Adam ala Nabiyana alayhi salatu wassalam, was sent into the dunya as the Khalifa of Allah. He was sent as the special envoy from the court of Almighty Allah onto this earth. And we, being the awlad of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, have a grand and a very important responsibility. That responsibility in this dunya, and the duty of every person is to believe in Allah. Firstly is to believe in Allah. And when a banda does not believe in Allah and that which Allah commanded him, believe in His Rasuls and His angels and His books and whatever else Allah has commanded for us, then there becomes a path that is different from the path of reality. One path leads to Jannat and one path leads to Jahannam. And those with Iman have been promised Jannat, but on condition that they protect and preserve the Iman that Allah gave them. That is the condition. This Iman is not like one mithai that was given to you and jo kare kare. This Iman is the most valuable thing. And it has been given to you with a duty and a responsibility. Is that you have been chosen to have this Iman. You have been chosen from the servants of Allah to have this Iman, and it is you who are also chosen to protect and preserve this Iman. Because if you do not protect the Iman, then the Iman will leave you. The Iman will leave you and you will be left barren and vacant. More barren than land that has nothing growing on it. You will have nothing left. And you will have nothing left here, and you will have nothing left in the hereafter. Because your dunya and your akhirat, and the barakat and the blessings of the dunya and the akhirat depend on your iman and on you reciting and believing in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But when you were given this responsibility of iman, when you were given this gift of iman, when we were blessed with this gift of iman, and when we were given the responsibility of protecting and preserving this iman, then we were made to understand that for this reason, you will have to make sacrifice. You will have to make some form of qurbani. It's not going to come easily and it's not going to stay easily. Because the beloved Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that there will come a time when to hold onto your iman will be like holding onto burning embers. Like holding to burning charcoal, coal in your hand. Which man can hold it in his hand? Anybody who can hold fire in his hand? Burning embers, what will happen? If somebody puts burning ember on your hand, what is the natural reaction? What is the natural reaction? You'll drop it. You'll drop it. Your brain will immediately tell you that my hand is burning. Your brain will immediately pass a message that the hand is burning and you will throw it down. You will drop it down. No matter how strong you are, no matter what, the moment somebody puts fire in your hand, Aql will tell you don't keep it anymore. Your mind will tell you you can't hold this, the body can't bear it. Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, to hold on to iman will be like this. To hold on to your iman will be like this, that a man will sleep as a Muslim in the morning and he'll wake up as an unbeliever. He'll sleep at night as a Muslim and he'll wake up in the morning as an unbeliever. And he'll get up as a Muslim and he'll sleep as an unbeliever. What is this telling us? What is the message that is being given to us? The message is being given that this protection of this iman is a very difficult responsibility. And when you have such an important responsibility, you cannot be relaxed about it. Example without comparison. If you and I are given a responsibility that there is this place, inside here there are 10 million rands. I'm talking about money because everybody wakes up. When we talk about money, everybody wakes up. And when we talk about millions, then we wake up faster. So if there's a little place with 10 million rands inside there, and you are told that your responsibility is to take care of that 10 million rand, you have been given this as an amana. You have been trusted, you have to protect it, you have to find all the ways to protect it. Because this 10 million, if you lose it, then your community will lose everything. Your community will lose everything. Tell me, how will you stand guard for that 10 million? What will you be doing? Sleeping? What will you be doing? Leaving the gate or the door where that room is empty? Unlocked? You will make all your effort. And you will not be relaxed in any way. Because if I lose that 10 million, I will have to answer to my community. My children will have to answer after me. Their children will have to answer after me. And till generations will come, it will be told, this was the person that lost what was belonging to the community. Yani sunna parega. No matter what. So one, I have to protect it. But two, I have to protect the responsibility that I have been given. And three, I have to protect my own honor. Because if this goes, my honor is gone. Everything is gone. That this is the one who lost that very valuable thing. This has to do with wealth. What about the iman which Allah gave us? How much more we have to protect it? How much more guarded we have to be? Because if you lose that, your entire generation starts losing it. Your entire nasl loses it. When one believer loses his iman, then it becomes a generation of kufr thereafter. So how important it is for us to protect this and protect this responsibility which Allah gave you. But you have to make some qurbani, like you're looking after that wealth that was given to you. You can't sleep. You made the qurbani of sleep. You made the qurbani of time. You made the qurbani of so many other things. Why? To protect that. How much more qurbani we are having to make, and we will have to make for the protection of our iman, for the protection of the iman of our generations that are going to come after us. This iman is very valuable. Look, if you go back into history and you look at the sacrifices that were made for the sake of iman, and I think last week you heard from Maulana Masabir, I was asking, just as we entered, what did you speak about last week? If HAZRAT Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, or rather not if, because Allah had given him success. When HAZRAT Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam made that sacrifice, made that qurbani that we are going to imitate in the means and the capacity that Allah has given us. Because you and I don't have to put our son down first. Okay? So we imitate that in the capacity that Allah has given us the hukum to. When we do this, and tonight is the 29th of Zulhijjah, today. Zulqada, sorry. Do not forget to sight for the moon of Zulhijjah. Okay? Then the month of Hajj and the month of Qurbani will start. Understand and remember that when Hazrat Sayyidina Ibrahim Khalilullah alayhi salatu wasalam was commanded by Allah to make that great Qurbani, sacrifice your son Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. That beloved, after how long they get that awlad? After so much of time and so much of sabr, Allah gave them Ismail alayhi salam. But Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam is commanded that you have to make him Qurban. He is ready to do it. He is ready to make that Qurbani because he understands my purpose on this earth is not about my child. My purpose is to fulfill the command of Allah. My purpose is to obey Almighty Allah. That is my purpose. And when he said to his son that I have been commanded to do this, then the son immediately accepted. Immediately Hazrat Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam accepted, because the father groomed and trained the son that our responsibility and duty in this earth is firstly to our Rabb Almighty Allah. How many of us, you can't compare to the Anbiya, but don't we learn what is our responsibility? How much can we sacrifice? How much of sacrifice do we make in our lives? Today people can't sacrifice their time to read their farz salah, except for those who pray. People can't sacrifice their time to sit 10 minutes at the feet of their mother and say, Ma, can I do something for you? We can't do this. Why? Because we have been caught in this trap and in this abyss of the dunya. This dunya has chewed and swallowed many more than us. So many before us. But we are not thinking. We are not thinking that we have a great responsibility on this dunya. And every responsibility comes with a qurbani. You have to sacrifice your friends sometimes. You have to sacrifice your associates. You have to sacrifice your wealth sometimes. But you have to do all that for what? For the pleasure of Allah. Today people sacrifice it for the dunya. They sacrifice, they say they have to compromise their iman and deen. For the sake of the dunya, this dunya will come to an end. And everything here is going to come to an end. That is why the pious servants of Allah sacrificed everything for the pleasure of Allah. They gave everything away for the pleasure of Allah. The week that just passed, this week that is passing, was the Yawm Wisal and the Urs of one of the great kings of Islam, HAZRAT Sayyidina Aurangzeb Alamgir radiallahu anhu, who made such huge sacrifice for the sake of the Muslim Ummah, that because of his barakat and gathering all those ulama, today you have Fatwa Alamgiri in our homes. Today we have one of the greatest fiqh reference books. What sacrifices they made. What was the reason for that sacrifice? Because they realized that they have a responsibility. Today is the Urs. Today is the Urs of one great personality. One great personality. And the time of the Qul Sharif is in a little while when the Urs Qul Sharif takes place of that personality. That personality is the father of the Mujaddid of the Zamana. Today is the Urs of AALA HAZRAT Azimul Barakat's father. We always talk about AALA HAZRAT, the Imam of the Ahl Sunnat, his love for the beloved Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam. We talk about how he filled the love in our hearts. We stand at JUMMAH and you say after the JUMMAH, when we stand up in Salam, we say, Dal di qalb mein azmat Mustafa, Sayyidi AALA HAZRAT, pe lakho salam. But we have forgotten about the personality whom AALA HAZRAT called my king and my crown and my love of all. Who? His beloved father, HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan radiallahu ta'ala. Think AALA HAZRAT became AALA HAZRat and was given this duty and this responsibility because he had a father who was dutiful. Who had a father who was responsible. He has a father who knew what is my responsibility and why Allah put us in this dunya. HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan radiallahu ta'ala made huge sacrifices. Great sacrifices. But what he gave the dunya. Look at the sacrifices that he made. But look at the gift that he gave the dunya. He gave the dunya by the command of Allah and His Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a son and a child and an Imam like Imam Muhammad Raza radiallahu ta'ala anhu. HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan, since I've taken his name, let me tell you, he gave some advice once. And I had made note a few days of this advice, and I thought, when I have some time, I'll probably share it with you. And I think no better that time than now. HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan, the father of AALA HAZRAT radiallahu anhu, he said that we're talking about sacrifice, that he loved the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam so dearly. He loved Rasul Pak so dearly that he was willing to sacrifice everything for the love of the beloved Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He wrote a kitab, many books he wrote, HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan. One of the kitabs he wrote is Surur Qulub bi Zikr al-Mahbub. And in that, he said something very beautifully. I've translated these words and I'm going to read it to you today. Because we're talking about sacrifice and our responsibility in this dunya. And I'm going to end with this. I'm going to read this quotation to you. And I want you to inscribe these words on your heart. And may I be able to do the same. He says, O sinners of the Ummah. O sinners of the Ummah. And he's including himself. This is his humility. HAZRAT Naqi Ali Khan, the father of AALA HAZRAT, says, O sinners of the Ummah, if you sacrifice yourself upon the mercy and the blessings of your Rabb. Sacrificing yourself doesn't mean killing yourself. Even if you have to give your life for Allah. But what he's trying to tell you, that Allah has given you all the things in the dunya. Why can't you sacrifice some time? Why can't you sacrifice everything for Him? So He says, and I'm reading, O sinners of the Ummah, if you sacrifice yourself upon the mercy and the blessings of your Rabb, then it is most suitable for you. And if you sacrifice your life, and wealth in the love of His beloved sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and in His obedience, it is justified. Subhanallah. Then he says, honestly tell me, is the obedience to such a compassionate master necessary or not? It is obligatory. He says, if the governor of a city, he gives you an example. He says, if the governor of a city employs someone on a salary of 10 rupees a month. He's talking about it in those days, which was a lot of money. If the governor of a city employs someone on a salary of 10 rupees a month, and I'm reading what he said, then such an employee spends his day and night in the obedience of that governor, of that employer. And he regards his obedience, and he takes his obedience to be more valuable upon his own responsibilities and duties to himself. If he asks you to come to work in the morning, you are unable to sleep the entire night. Why? You are stressing, I have to be there at that time. And whatever work he asks you to complete, you try to complete it in the due time. In other words, he's saying you not even eat, you ought to be able, he says this, you ought to be able to eat one roti in peace. Till morning doesn't come, I mustn't be late because the governor, I'm working for the governor. And whatever job he has given me, I must finish in time. I'm stopping here. I will read to you another time more of what he says. But this example that he gives, Allahu Akbar. This is why he was called Imam al-Mutaqallimin. The example that he gives, that if you are employed by a governor and he calls you to work at a certain time in the morning, then you will be restless until morning comes because you will not be a minute late. And whatever duties he gives you, you will complete it timeously because you will have to face his anger. You will have to face him. He is the governor. You work for such an authority. Allah has given us the Salatul Fajr. How restlessly do we sleep? That in the morning we have to wake up and be obedient to the Rabb who gave us everything that we have. Who gave us the air that we breathe. Who gave us the hands with which we touch. The legs with which we walk. The eyes with which we see. Everything that Rabb has given us, our zindagi He has given us. And He has commanded us to stand in His court at that time. How many of us feel that restlessness, that tomorrow in the morning I have to get up to stand in the court of the Rabb of the Kainat? And how many of us have the sense of responsibility that a governor commands you to fulfill a responsibility, you will not delay it. Why do you delay the salah which Allah gave you? Why can't we make that sacrifice? Everything needs a sacrifice. Everything needs a qurbani. Think about it. This is a very important thing to note. That we are willing to do this because we do not want to displease our employers. And what about displeasing the Rabb who even gives you and gives that employer also? All your risk is from Allah. And everything that you get is through the sadaqah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is something we have to think about. It is something we have to reflect on and understand that we have a duty. We have been sent here duty bound. We have sent here with a responsibility. And if we do not fulfill this responsibility, then we are accountable in the court of Allah. We are answerable in the court of Allah. And remember, time will not wait for you, and it will not wait for me. When Allah wills, your soul will come out. My soul will be taken, and this body will have to be carried by others and put into a grave. But it will rise by the command of Allah on Maidan-e-Mahshar. and will be held responsible and accountable for what he was duty bound on the earth. This responsibility is very important. And understand from this the sense of qurban, the sense of sacrifice for the pleasure of Allah, and why the Anbiya Ikram alayhi salatu wasalam, the Sahaba Ikram, the awliya, the Imam have so much of fikr about the sacrifices that they had to make and the duty that they were given for the protection and the preservation of the iman of the believers in this dunya. This is something we have to pay special attention to. Allah give us tawfiq khair. Inshallah, lazim, if Allah wills, next week I will discuss this very topic further. I will discuss this very topic, inshallah, lazim, further if Allah wills, and we'll go more into some depth to better understand the qurbani that we make, to better understand the hajj that people go for. The hajj that we are going for, this too is a great qurbani. How much a man earns, how long it takes him, look at the price of hajj this day. How much a man has to make mehnat and earn to by Allah's fadl karam and go for hajj to fulfill that responsibility. But how duty bound is he? This is what you need to understand. What is your zimmedari? It's not about just going there and doing this and doing that and doing that. It's how you do it. It's a great responsibility that you have taken and which has been given to us. But I will discuss that, inshallah, Allah willing, next week. Allah keep us with iman. Let us leave this world with iman. Those who are ill, Allah grant them shifa kamil, sehat ajil. Brother Afzal, his daughter Isa is also being unwell. Hafiz Muhammad, our Haji Muhammad, Brother Zainul Abidin, and all those who have asked me to make dua for them. I can't remember all the names right now. Dua shifa for all of them. Allah grant them shifa kamila, sehat ajila. Those that have passed away in Ahlul Sunnah, Allah exalt them in Jannatul Naeem. And dua, special dua maghfirat for Haji Abdul Latif Sahibji, who passed away sometime last week. Allah make his maghfirat as well. And whoever else has asked us to make dua for them, not forgetting the Muslims of Palestine, not forgetting the onslaught that is happening on Rafah. Do not forget them, keep them in your dua. Continue making dua and make dua that Allah keep us with iman and let us leave this world with iman. Those that are going through any other calamities in your families and in your homes, any difficulties, may Allah alleviate your difficulties, and may Allah shower His mercy upon all of us, and may Allah bless us to remain firm on mazhab muhazzab, mazhab sunnat, MASLAK HAZRAT, and Allah protect us from all the agents of shaitan who are going from one end to the other of the world, trying to usurp the iman and take away the iman of the Muslims. Allah protect us from them all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.